I have a question for you. How many of you guys have ever tried to write a book? Now, all the things I've been doing in my business over the last 2 decades, the hardest, but yet the most rewarding, most fulfilling part of what I've done is writing books. I've written 3 great books: .com Secrets, Expert Secrets, Traffic Secrets. Traffic Secrets was a New York Times bestseller, which I'm super proud of. And a couple years ago, I started on my next book. All these books have been books about marketing, right? And I wanted to create a book more about personal development and success and how to achieve things in your life. And I've been trying to write this book now for almost 4 years, and I've been struggling. And so recently over on Instagram and on TikTok, I started a really fun series, basically each day documenting the journey of me trying to write a best-selling book and hopefully selling 1 million copies. And it's been so much fun. Some of these videos have gotten over 1 million views or more, and people keep loving them and asking for more, but they've been on shorts over on these other platforms. So I thought, how fun would it be to make a video right now where I walk you guys through the first 7 days of everything I'm doing right now to write a best-selling book and hopefully selling 1 million copies. And I want you to let me know what you think about these. Let me know about your ideas. If you've ever written a book or you thought about writing a book or you have questions about writing a book, drop them in the comments down below. I'm gonna be checking out these comments and tweaking the presentations in these videos as I move forward. With that said, here's day number 1 of writing a best-selling book and hopefully selling 1 million copies. Welcome to day number 1 of writing a best-selling book and hopefully selling 1 million copies. As of March 1st, 2021, it's been 1,076 days. That's when I originally signed the contract with Hay House to write this book 2 years, 11 months, and 9 days ago. So the question is, why is today day number 1? I've written 3 books now. One of them was a New York Times bestseller. Only 0.4% of books ever sell more than 100,000 copies, which means all 3 of my first 3 books are in the 0.4% club, which is amazing. But only 0.003% ever sell 1 million copies by themselves. So if I'm gonna write a book that's gonna sell 1 million copies, it cannot be good, it's gotta be great. The second book I wrote, I remember I had written about 100 pages. I felt like the book was good, but it wasn't great. And so I literally went live on Snapchat and deleted the entire book from my computer in front of my entire audience. People were freaking out. People were like literally begging me to send them copies of what I'd written, but I wasn't proud of it. So I deleted it and started over. And this book has been the same thing. So let me show you what's been happening over here over the last 2 years, 11 months, and 9 days. So here are the copies of the manuscripts I've written so far. If you scroll through here, you can see that there are 105 pages of writing and edits and doodles and notes, and I put a lot into this. When I got done, it was like, again, it was good, but not great. And as of today, I've decided that none of these is right. And so I'm gonna do something crazy. I'm literally highlighting all the manuscripts and they're gone. And so today starts day number 1, where I'm opening a brand new Google Doc. So the question is, why is this time gonna be different? Well, because it has been 2 years, 11 months, and 9 days, I am gonna hold myself accountable to you and to me by taking you on this journey. And so no more will I let resistance keep me finishing this book. And so today is day number 1 on this writing journey, and I'm gonna be sharing the journey with you. So if you enjoy this, please subscribe, let people know about it, share it, comment in it. It should be a lot of fun, and I'm gonna take you on this journey, again, of writing a best-selling book and then hopefully selling 1 million copies. Good morning and welcome to day number 2 of writing a best-selling book and hopefully selling 1 million copies. So today, if I know the end goal is to sell 1 million copies, I should look at people who've sold 1 million copies and get ideas about what they did and why they did it. Not just from the marketing standpoint, but from like how they actually wrote the book, how they structured the book, what they talked about. And so this morning I've been speed reading 4 different books. The first one is Girl Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis. It's my wife's book. In fact, this copy is actually signed by Rachel. Next, I grabbed This Naked Mind by Annie Grace. This one is about how to overcome alcohol addiction, sold multiple million copies. And the third one is Jordan Peterson, Beyond Order. I think Jordan's 2 books have sold over 10 million copies, which is crazy. So I want to figure like, what do they know about writing books? Because they're not marketers like me. They're not using free plus shipping funnels and stuff like that to sell books. They're just writing really good books that people pass on and they get media and people share them and all sorts of stuff. So I was trying to figure like how they structure their books differently than how I've done in the past. And what's fascinating is I started going through, I sped read Girl Wash Your Face, at least the introduction in the first chapter, to see if I could pull out like, what is she doing differently than everybody else, right? Why was she able to sell, I think 5 million copies in 1 year of this book? And I found a really cool pattern, so check this out. So what I found in each of her books is in the introduction, is she states there's one core theory the entire book is based around. So you read the introduction, it's a couple pages long, but it comes down to this one thought right here. She says, ultimately, you're responsible for who you will become and how happy you are. That's it. And then the rest of the book is all stories and things to back up and actually prove that one theory, which is kind of cool. And I looked at Girl Stop Apologizing, her second book. I pulled it open, also signed to my wife, Colette. And I went through here, I was reading it, and sure enough, she says, here's the core of the book, is that women are afraid of themselves. Boom. And so it all hinges on one core theory, and that's what's so exciting. So in my book right now, I have a whole bunch of principles that I want to share. And inside those principles, I got stories, I got tactics, I got strategy, stuff I want to do, but I want to figure out, like, what is the one theory that the entire book hangs from, right? In sales, we call this the big domino, right? Like, what's the one thing, if I get them to believe this, and everything else falls down. And then we hit it from 1,000 different angles. And as I'm looking at Rachel's books, I'm looking at Annie's books, I'm looking at Jordan Peterson's book, I'm looking at all these books sold 1 million copies. They're not trying to convince people 2, 3, 5, 10, 15 things. It's all coming down to one core theory. What's the big domino I need them to believe? Like the goal of this book, and then all the rest, everything else is all there to support and to prove the theory true. So I'm excited. Again, I feel like I have the principle, strategy, and tactics. That's what I've been writing for the last 2 years, but they weren't all hanging on one core theory. And so my assignment for today is to figure out what is the core theory that my book is going to hang on. All right, I'll let you know when I figure it out. Peace. Good morning, this is Russell Brunson. Welcome to day number 3 of writing a best-selling book and hopefully selling 1 million copies. I am talking to more people who have sold 1 million copies of the book. So I actually talked to Annie Grace, the author of This Naked Mind. So I was like, how did you write this book to get people to want to pass it on and share it? And she sent me a Voxer today. I kind of went through the entire structure of the book. And so I thought, you guys want to hear it? Because I listened to it probably 7 or 8 times. I'm taking notes on it. I'm like mapping the whole thing out. It's giving me so much cool structure on how to structure my book. All right, step number 1, the preface.
So how I think about a nonfiction book is in basically rules of 3. I think it's a really good, solid kind of universal principle to think about. It usually starts with like high drama. So it's your backstory, your origin story at a moment of high drama. So the car crashed. I woke up at 3 a.m. with a pit in my stomach. I just gotten this news. I just gotten that news. So it like really hooks them in. And then the introduction becomes really practical, like what this book will do for you.
Step number 2 now is the introduction.
In This Naked Mind, the first 2 sentences of the first paragraph of the introduction make the big hairy promise. The promise to the point where it's almost unbelievable, but it also makes people hopeful. Then you might want to say, I know that's a big promise. I need the rest of the book to prove it to you. Just stick with me. Like, what if I'm right? But I think that promise should be the first sentence of the book, really.
Now we break the book down into 3 core sections, and each section should have 3 more points.
And then I think about that big, hairy objective, and I say, okay, what are the 3 key elements? What are the 3 key points or arguments that support that? And then that could be really the 3 sections of the book. In each chapter, if you get the 3 main points, the 3 key arguments, and the chapter should follow the same format as the whole book. What happens when you do that, and you do it in sort of a repeating structure, the brain feels safe. So the more the brain can feel predictability in the structure, the more open it can be to the new concepts and the new ideas. And then you just start filling it in. So when you start with the big overall framework, it's kind of like building a house. Like you're starting with the blueprints. So what are all the points I need to make this argument? The 3 key ones. How do those distill down? How do those break down? How do I support each of those arguments? Once you do that, you just outline it. And the outline, I think, is best served if you outline with questions for yourself to fill in later. When your brain hears a question, it's like Google. It can't not answer it.
So you write your outline in question format. That way you don't get writer's block.
It's a flexible rule, but it's just a framework to kind of help kick things off and get the structure right. Because if the structure's right, the information can become palatable. You feel smart when you can predict what's going to happen next, even on a subconscious level.
All right, so after listening to that 5 or 6 times, I went back through Annie's book and I saw everything. I saw how the preface worked, saw how the introduction worked, saw how her book was broken down into sections. Each section was broken down into smaller steps of 3, and inside there the stories, the tangents, the backs, like all of the pieces. So it gives me a lot to think through as I'm planning out the structure of the book to make sure that I'm not wandering off in different directions like has happened over the last 2 years. So that's the goal and the game plan for today. I'll let you know how it goes tomorrow. All right, I hope you are enjoying these videos. If you are, please like and subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna jump back in and keep showing you guys the next days in this series, but I wanna make sure you guys do not miss this. I'm gonna be showing you guys the next week here coming up very, very soon. I wanna make sure you don't miss any of the videos. So with that said, I'm gonna jump you guys into the next day. Hey, welcome to day number 4 of writing a best-selling book and trying to sell 1 million copies. I'm actually on the way to the airport. I want to show you guys a hack that I learned to write faster. A lot of times we get stuck when we're trying to write because we are right brain and we are left brain and we're going back and forth. And the hack I'm going to show you guys is huge. I'm going to be using it on the flight today all the way to Las Vegas. Let me show you how I do this. Okay, so I'm in one of the rooms I do a lot of my writing in. I want to explain that for all us humans, we have a right brain and a left brain, right? Our right brain is very creative, our left brain is very analytical, trying to edit all the time. So one of the problems when you write is that you are writing very creatively, but your left brain is trying to edit the whole time. And so a lot of times doing it in Google Docs or something like that, it gets hard because you keep switching back and forth and it's hard to get anything done. And so there's a new company came out called Freewrite. Check this out. All right, so this is called Freewrite. This is basically, it's like a typewriter. You can upload stuff to the internet, but you cannot edit, you can't research, you can't do anything. All you can do is write. It forces you to stay in your right brain, creative brain. They do have a backspace, but that's the only way you can edit. And so what happens is you sit down, you start typing, and you're gonna make a ton of mistakes, and that's okay, because after you're done, then you send it somewhere else. You can send it to Google Drive, or you can send it to your email, and then you can edit it from there. Just try to write as fast as you can, as many words as you can, word count. Then you send it off and you edit it later when you want to go pure left brain. Okay, this is all about staying in your right brain so you can stay creative. Again, this one is called the Ernest Hemingway, which is so cool. This is the briefcase it comes with. But for my trip right now, I'm about to jump on a plane. I don't want to haul this whole thing and work on the plane with this. And so this is the Travel Freewrite, which came out recently. You open it up and boom, it's the exact same concept. Here it's got the screen I can write in. Here's the backspace, the only way I can edit. When you're done, you click send, boom, and for me it's hooked to my Google Drive and my email, so it sends an email of the draft I wrote, and it sends it to my Google Drive, and then later, when I get home from my trip, I'll be able to edit it and make it amazing. So there you go, it's Freewrite Travel Edition right here, which is amazing, or the Hemingway right here. I get off the plane right now, and got over 1,800 words written, 10,000 characters, and now I'm flight. So that is the power of Freewrite. It's nice because typically you get stuck and you're like, I want to find this quote. So you go research, try to find it. Here I'm just like, go find quote, and then keep typing, and there you get so much more done. So it's happened on playing the last hour. All right, welcome to day number 5 of writing a best-selling book and hopefully selling 1 million copies. Yesterday I was on a flight and I wrote 2/3 of a chapter on Freewrite. That was all focusing on right brain creativity so I could focus and not get distracted editing. And today that was an editing day. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open this up. As you can see, I was able to write 1,800 words, 10,000 characters, and now I want to send it to my computer. So come down here and I click the button that says send, boom, and then your document has been sent. All right, so check it out. It came in my inbox, and there is everything that I wrote. I can now grab it. Actually, 2 versions of it. So I'm gonna grab right here, copy that over, and come down, and this is for chapter number 1 that I'm working on. Boom, it's all in here, and then you can see how bad the editing is because I'm not able to edit. I got basically every other word was incorrect, but it's all in there. So now left brain's editing. I'm just focused on editing, cleaning up, getting formatting, getting punctuation, getting the words right, and then the rest of today I'll have a chance to go through and just kind of trying to like weave a lot of my notes, a lot of my ideas into a chapter and hopefully making it a cohesive chapter, and then we'll have a chapter done. So far, I haven't even gotten to the whole outlining of the book or anything. I just wanted to start. I wanted to get something written. I wanted to get these thoughts out of my head and just into a spot where I can start working on it. And so that's where right now. First writing session is done. Now the editing session is starting, and we'll see what happens. That's kind of it for today. Tomorrow, I'm probably going to spend more time outlining and researching now that it's officially begun. So there you go. Comment down below if you want to see what I wrote in this first day. All right, thanks everyone. What's up, everybody? Welcome to day number 6 of writing a best-selling book and hopefully selling 1 million copies. Today, I'm going to be getting into outlining. This is something that I do with every book, is I try to create the outline, but in my head, I think about it as the table of contents. It's an ever-changing document that's always changing and morphing and tweaking. People always ask me, do you know the end of the book when you start? And the answer for me is no. I know kind of the direction I'm going, but if you look at any of my books, like my first outline, I have created an entire outline where I'm starting, where I'm ending, and I start writing. As I go through, it's like, oh, that's wrong, because I change it. I'm changing it. And by the time the book is done, if you go back and look at the original outline and the last one, they're not even close to anything like similar at all. It still gives me like a direction to go. So the tool I use to do my outlines is called Workflow. I think it's a free app. Maybe you pay, I don't even know, but it's really simple. It's like a never-ending bullet list, secrets of success. And then from there, it starts the bullet list. And so here's where I start creating my table of contents. And so for me, usually it's going to be some kind of preface. Then I start titling my chapters. I call mine secrets. And I'll go through, start giving them titles. Like if I know the direction I want to go, from interesting to driven. I'll keep going through all the different secrets. So I'll click on secret number 1, and that becomes a new bullet point. And I'm like, okay, what are all things I want to cover in secret number 1? And from there, I can go and I can create a sub bullet point. thinking about each of the core beats, the core secrets, the core chapters I want to hit. Secret number 2, I'll go through and like, what are the things I want to talk about here? And then go through and I'll add those things and think about what are the quotes, what are the stories, what are the ideas. I'm gonna try to get a final outline of the entire book as I see it today. Again, it's gonna change a million times between now and then, but that's kind of the goal for today, filling out the different stories, the principles, the ideas. So that's happening day number 6, focusing 100% on getting the table of contents and the outline built inside of Workflowy. Welcome to day number 7 of writing a best-selling book and hopefully selling 1 million copies. This morning I got up and I started working, and one of my friends, Connor Boyack, who by the way has written probably 100 books, 200 books, and he saw day number 5 where I showed me editing in Google Docs, and this is the text I just got from him. He said, "Seeing you write in Google Docs sends shivers down my spine. I use this app for writing all of my books, passing along in case it's helpful." And he sent me a link to an app called Scrivener. So I played with that setup today, and so far it is amazing. So I'm gonna show you guys what this looks like. So you can see over here, this is the manuscript inside of Google Docs I've been working on. Problem is like, right now as I'm editing, going back and forth, I wanna find something. I scroll back up through 20 pages, find this thing, copy and paste it down. And then I'm like, oh, what are the table of contents? Which direction am I going? I have to go back up and down, and it is chaos. He told me to try this new process, and I wanna show you what happened and why I'm actually loving this. Number 1, it has this really cool side menu they call the binder. I have my draft, and then you make basically a folder for each chapter. So I have title page, table of contents, introduction. There's a research tab, so I have all my research. I can go in one spot here, put all my transcripts in here, all the things for my Freewrite I can post in here, and all my outlines from different versions of this. So everything is here in this amazing little side menu. And the other cool thing is that when you start writing, you can have up to 2 different things. So you can have the table of contents on one side and the chapter over here, or 2 versions of the page. You can scroll around, and it makes it so much easier to write and to edit and to find things to cut and to paste. I've had this on my computer now for like 6 or 7 hours, and it is insane. All of my research, all my everything is in one spot, and I feel like I can finally get to work. Now I feel like I'm a real writer. So anyway, I'm pumped. Thank you, Connor, for this suggestion. Again, this is 2 years of me writing this book, so I have so much stuff and it's chaos. And those who know me, I'm not a super clean person. Like, look at my office, it is always a nightmare. I've got, here's the mail that came in this week and all the books I got. Like, my whole world is chaos, and writing, it can't be chaos because it's too hard to find everything, it takes too long. So now it's all in one spot, organized, and I'm pumped. So there you go. Now I can finally get to writing, speed up my process, and hopefully we'll get this book done sooner or later. All right, thanks everybody. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed the very first 7 days of how I'm writing a best-selling book and hopefully selling 1 million copies. If you enjoyed this series, please let me know in the comments down below. I want to keep posting these things and first off, getting you guys feedback, which is a lot of fun, and hopefully inspiring some of you guys to start writing your very first book as well. With that said, one of the number 1 questions I keep getting from people over and over and over again is, Russell, can I read chapter number 1? I want to see what you're writing, like let us know. And I'm not ready to share with anybody yet, but one cool thing did happen. Recently, I did an event for young entrepreneurs I call Unlock the Secrets. And for my keynote presentation, I decided to share what I had taught in chapter number 1 of the book, which is really helping to understand how your brain works. And I did it in a way that was really fun for little kids. And so I had a bunch of stuffed animals. I had an elephant, a lizard, and some monkeys, and I explained how your brain actually works. I took that presentation and I actually threw it on YouTube recently. And so if you want to see a presentation that's as close to chapter number 1 of the book as I actually have right now, you can watch that right now. There's a link right here to the video somewhere. Click on that link on the video. It'll take you to the other video on my YouTube channel where you're going to see similar stuff I'm teaching in chapter number 1 of the brand new book. And I hope you enjoy it. So the link's right here. Check it out and let me know what you think about the content.